So, in a summary, okay? I don't know where this last enemy is, but I'm glad that they're kind of taking their time. In 2023, I started playing VR chat. No, sorry. 2019, I started playing VR chat. Whoopsies. But in 2023 was the worst year I've ever had. Alright, it sucked. I was trying to get over someone who I was pretty close with, but, you know, we just kind of parted ways. Unfortunately, not amicably. It could have been better, but, you know, it is what it is sometimes. So I met some other person on VR chat, because I started playing VR chat more. I started not playing Xbox as much, kind of distancing myself from everyone, and trying to be more in the virtual world so I can just kind of get away from my problems a little bit. I met this person who went by Void Vexen. They don't go by that now. They go by Vin Osborne, right? This new persona, right? This is like a deep conversation, right? Trigger warning. This person I'm about to talk about is a sex offender. Pretty deep shit, okay? I know it's probably not what you expected. I didn't expect it either. I knew this person very closely. But unfortunately, he took the worst path in life. And here we are. So, 2023. I was 17 years old. I met this person who joined me in a random Five Nights at Freddy's server. I was role-playing as a little animatronic. This guy joined. It was a public server. And he started, you know, role-playing with me. And I thought, well, this is cool. I'm going through a rough time right now. I need to make some friends. This guy is great. Amazing. Obviously, I knew about his age. He knew about mine. Ever since I actually like started talking to him, because I got kind of nervous, and that's just kind of what I do on VR. I mean, still today, most times when I get on VR to actually play like Rec Room or VR Chat, I don't really like talking much. With VR Chat, I'm kind of more comfortable, but I've started playing Rec Room VR more, and I don't really talk. It is what it is. I ended up starting talking to the guy, and we became pretty good friends. It's not that unnormal to, you know, go on a social game and just make friends with people who are very vastly different in ages. That's just kind of what happens, really. One time I went on VR chat, I met like, I think a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old. Generally, I wish I could say nice people, but most people on VR chat, you know, they're not right in the head. Let's just say, you know, just to be nice. So as the story developed, I was friends with this guy. One time I met his girlfriend. That was cool. So that was nice. Turns out that relationship didn't last very long, and you know, they kind of split ways. Then well, me and him kind of grew close because I had told him, the stupid 17-year-old me, which I take the blame for, told him that I was attracted to him, right? And despite it's legal, for some reason, somehow, in the UK and in Ohio, because that's where he lives, funny Ohio joke, it still doesn't feel right? That's not morally right. You shouldn't date a kid, a minor. We never dated, but we grew close, and then we grew closer over VR chat. You know how things go. Then we grew even too close. Then we got to this like friends with benefits type thing, right? And throughout this whole time, I was constantly thinking, it's wrong. This just isn't right. I should just leave, you know, just get out of here. Because I told him that I didn't really want to be in a relationship until I was 18. Because that felt right, you know, being in a relationship as an adult, you know, that's okay. But adult and a minor, you know, it doesn't matter if I'm like 6 months off of being 18, right? It's still wrong. And he's 21 years old. 17, 21. Regardless, I'm not 18 yet. It shouldn't just be like, oh, there needs to be like a 5-year age gap, right? Like, that's still not right. 18, 17, 16. If you go with this like 5-year age gap thing, right? One person could be 18 and one person could be 13. You can't say that's right. at all. It's not based on age gaps, right? It's based on, are the two of you dating? Are you both minors or both adults? If you're both minors, okay. If you're both adults, okay. If you're, you know, not... If you're 17 and 18, there's a different story, okay? You both are literally just turning into adults. There's wiggle room. But 17, 21, what the fuck, man? So I obviously thought it was wrong, so I ended up like kind of parting ways from him. We were never a thing. After we were done, he ended up dating a 16-year-old. So instead of dating someone who was actually his age range, right, he went for a 16-year-old. Which I do have proof of, because on his now YouTube channel, which he has privated all of his videos, so he put on his YouTube channel, "Do not believe Charlie's bullshit lies," or false information that they publicly shared, right? I'm not showing false information. I'm telling the truth. Where was I? Oh yeah, he dated a minor. So, during this time, I had turned 18, right? I spent my birthday, I think it was my birthday or some days after, I played GTA 5 with him, knowing full well that he was in a relationship with a 16-year-old. But according to law, apparently that's legal. It shouldn't be. I'm not sure it is. But he kept on constantly telling me it's legal. So like, put your head out of it, you know what I mean? Like, don't think like this. It's legal. So shut up. He didn't tell me to shut up. But constantly I would ask him, like, this doesn't feel right, like when me and him were close. And he would just say, you know, it's legal. It's fine. So, like, don't worry yourself about it. That doesn't make it not immoral, you know? It's immoral. It's wrong. So I spent my birthday playing with him and a friend. Nothing weird happened on my birthday, but just after my birthday, I felt like a couple weeks after, around February time, my birthday, January 13th, right? So it's around February time, late February time, actually. He had said before, like, you know, around my birthday time, he had said that late February he'd be moving, right? So I expected that late February, you know, he's not online anymore. Oh, he must be moving somewhere, right? It got... time, you know, started going on and on and on, and I thought, well, I haven't heard anything back from him. And sure, he said, you know, there's probably not going to be much Wi-Fi. And I thought, okay, I guess that's how it works when you move into a new house. You got to pay for, you know, new Wi-Fi and stuff. Okay. So then one random night, or morning, should I say, at 4 a.m, I decided I'm getting really worried about him, right? Because I still had feelings for him. Anyway, around that time, 4 a.m, right? I searched up his full legal name because he told me this. I didn't pry that information off him or anything like that. I asked him, what is his name? Because, you know, he was thinking about this relationship thing. I was like, what's your information then? You tell me some of this. And then we didn't, because obviously it was wrong. But I got his name, right? I typed it up, 4 a.m. one morning, and I saw a mugshot of him with his full legal name. And I thought, yeah, that's him. I've seen him on TikTok. That's his face. That's really him. What has he done, right? Because this was around the time he said he was moving. He wasn't moving. Maybe this was all a setup. Maybe. I'm starting to think about it now. You know, he said late February he'd be moving. He didn't have the money to do that. He was fucking unemployed. He didn't even try to look for a job. I'm unemployed, but at least I'm trying, okay? And I can say for a lot of people who are also in the same situation as me, who are unemployed, but still trying, right? I wouldn't say... Don't call us unemployed as an insult, right? Because we're trying. People like those, like the basement dwellers, who are not actually looking for the job, they're the unemployed, like, as an insult. It doesn't make sense that he would be moving despite he had no money. His parents weren't giving him money or anything like that. He wasn't expecting a large sum. How the fuck was he just gonna move for free? So I found his mugshot, I scrolled, and I saw it said panda, sexual, something minor. And me and my friend actually, ever since after my birthday, me and him just kind of like parted ways. We were kind of making jokes about like, yeah, this guy's probably a nonce because he's dating a 16-year-old, right? Nonce, aka pedophile, right? That's the kind of slang we use. So it just kind of made sense to us, like, but we were just hoping it was a joke, right? Despite 16, you know. But he told me that it was legal, so, you know, we just kind of thought, oh, okay, then if it's legal, then, but like, he still did it. Turns out he went to jail or prison. I don't know how it works, right? Under a year. He's now on 3 years parole and 25 years on the registry. This enemy is really being patient with me. I really appreciate that. So after this whole thing, after he got out, because it was August this year, actually, when he was scheduled for release, I wanted to ask him, like, what did you do? Because I didn't know. But I thought the working theory was he was dating a 16-year-old who also lives in America. I thought, okay, well, I don't know how America works. Maybe he wanted to meet up with the kid, right? I'm not saying like this is just how Americans are. No, I don't mean to insult the country. I'm insulting the guy. I'm trying to shame him, right? By bringing this information to light, because shaming should be a normal thing now. People who do wrong should be shamed for it, not just like a slap on the ass and, you know, a slap on the wrist and say, you know, oh, he did a mistake, it's all right. No, that's not how it should be. I thought that he had moved to meet the kid, right? And at some point, like, parents found out and he, like, had the police called on him. He did the worst of the worst, right? Turns out he didn't, but it's still fucking horrible. Because he had a Jorkinit addiction, right? I'm watching my words here, so this can actually go up onto YouTube. He ended up having imagery or videos, I don't know, he didn't really explain that to me, of you know what, right? So that's why he got arrested. His house got swatted, and he had live ammunition pointed at him and his family. Rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. Can we all agree on that? No one's here, but I can imagine you guys, the audience, right? Yeah, we all agree? Yeah, okay, good. Anyway, because of this, he only got under a year in jail. 3 years parole. That. Which doesn't feel right. He should have got, like, you know, 5 years minimum. Maybe working around 10 years. Because he inadvertently made someone a victim. Whoever's, like, imagery or whatever he was seeing, he made them a victim. Right? So, I ended up, like, obviously reaching out to him because he had told me that he had imagery instead of actually doing that, because I told him what the theory was, and he said, no, that wasn't the case. Essentially, the problem that I still have with him, well, is one, he's a sex offender, right? Two, I questioned him about, like, him dating the 16-year-old, right? And he didn't really admit fault to that. You know? So my problem was, after he had got out, and I was like reaching out to him just to ask him like what was going on. And then I ended up like hopping on Discord calls with him for about like 2 weeks. But every time I was on it, it was like hell. Just constantly thinking to myself, who am I talking to? This isn't the same person I randomly met on VR chat that one time. This is a criminal. I shouldn't be friends with him. I shouldn't still care about him, despite he was that one person who I felt really close with, like, for the first time ever. This doesn't feel right. So, like, multiple times I'd lash out on him, mostly because he still wouldn't admit fault to dating a 16-year-old and making them basically a victim. I don't care what the legal system has to say. You use the legal system to date a child, right? I'm saying that, like, in a way that if he's watching the video, I'm talking directly to him, right? You use the legal system as your defense to date a child. Nothing from over there, obviously, because I'm playing a video game. You know what I mean? Right? Like, that's fucked. You could have dated anyone your age, but you went for the lowest of the low, like the youngest possible, the youngest that the law allows you to, right? This guy isn't doing better. He isn't on recovery because he still believes that that is okay. And that's why I have a problem. He's an offender, and he'll always be an offender. Once an offender, always an offender, right? You know? Offenders spend their day-to-day life on Roblox. Pretty natural that he'd be on there. And I checked his friend list before he blocked me, and it looked like there was a child on there. I can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, he blocked me. I can reach out to them. I can't remember their fucking username, but they went by Juice WRLD. No adult has their name as Juice WRLD, right? That's like a kid thing, right? They're also based on their appearance as well. Didn't look like an adult. Adults usually have more, like, you know, cooler outfits and stuff. That was a very basic, like, young girl who looked like they made their Roblox avatar, but it also was kind of naked as well. So I am really worried. I don't know what he's doing, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do.